Hello, Derbyites and Dancing with the Stars fans. I am Daniel Montgomery with Gold Derby, and I'm here with our contributor, Cordell Martin. And we are here to talk about Dancing with the Stars, the season as a whole. Last night's episode, I've already discussed last night's episode with our fellow contributor, Jeffrey Kerr, so you can watch that on our YouTube channel as well. But since we did discuss I did discuss the episode earlier. I want to sort of get your overall impressions of this season. But first, I should say that so far for the season as a whole, in making our predictions at Gold Derby, as of this week, Cordell and I are 1 and 2 best predictions of the season so far, with like an amazing 60-something% accuracy. So. So what have been your biggest impressions of the season so far?
Yeah, I would say so far in terms of just like the competition, this has been a stacked season in terms of just the amount of competitors in terms of just top scorers. I mean, you have Normani, Simone, Rashad just killing it week after week, and then also Nancy and Heather as well before they were eliminated. And then you also had a lot of surprises. David Ross was one of those surprises who I thought would have been an early contender to be eliminated. But week after week, he's definitely been surprising me with the fan support, as well as Bonner. I didn't know what to expect with Bonner because I didn't know who he was prior to him appearing on the show. But it's just very interesting to see how he's been able to kind of sneak past being eliminated, considering he's been at the bottom of the leaderboard for the past few weeks. In terms of just eliminations, it's been quite surprising. I wouldn't expect, now that we're in week 8, that Heather or Nancy wouldn't be a part of this top 5. But as a long-term viewer of Dance with the Stars, I'm not surprised. I mean, you always have a mixture of the ones who can dance, and you have, you know, those dancers, well, contenders who just relate to the viewer. And I think David brings that to the table, that he might not be the best dancer, but he's just one of those people that he's always having a good time, puts a smile on your face, and makes you feel that you too can be on Dance with the Stars and have a good time. And with Bonner, I think for him, it's just his backstory and how he was able to overcome, that horrific injury that he suffered, and just being able to put one foot out there and just, put himself out there in terms of dancing in front of millions of people, which he's not used to doing. I've never done before. So
he's barely doing it now. It's interesting. Oh, I've already started with the shade. I feel bad now. No, I absolutely agree. This season, when it started, it seemed so stacked with talent, especially female talent, because you have a gymnast, you had a pop star in a girl group, Normani Cordell, you had the figure skater, Nancy Kerrigan, you had the actress with the prior dance experience, Heather Morris. And so it seemed like, these 4 are going to dominate all the way, and everyone else is just going to be like dropping like flies one by one every week. And who would have thought at this point that there would still be kind of fodder still at the top 5 level, that we would still be talking about Bonner Bolton, that we would still be talking about David Ross, even though I think David Ross has exceeded expectations, not just in terms of the fan base. I think he's a better dancer than most people expected him to be too, even though he's not going to make it to the mirror ball, I don't think, but he's... I see, because half of the judging is still the scores, so I don't think there's going to be a mathematical way for, it would require Simone and Normani and Rashad to all perform so poorly in that last week for him to suddenly just jump to the top. I don't think it's likely. I think he will make it to the top 4. I think Bonner is probably gone next week, because those 2 are at the bottom of the leaderboard, separated by a point. And from what we've seen, I think David Ross is going to have the stronger fan base. So do you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And if that holds true, once it gets to the final four, I don't know. I could see another upset, and I can see David sneaking his way into the top three for some odd reason. Like, I'm envisioning it gets to the results, and Tom and Aaron calls David safe first.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Now that I've heard it, it's like, oh man, that's so plausible.
Exactly, because for the judges with David and Bonner, they're kind of in a pickle. It's like, do you really score them, for subpar routines and give them sixes or sevens, only to have the fans really rally behind them in terms of the vote? Or do you overscore them or kind of, boost their score so that way the viewers won't think, oh, well, they're trying to screw them out of making to the semifinals or finals. But if you do that, they can knock out one of the better dancers. So
as we already saw happen.
Exactly. So it'll be very interesting to see how the judges handle Bonner and David the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting the sliding scale that these different dancers are operating on, because on the one hand it's understandable. It's like, if you were really honest about just pure dance skill, if you're going to give someone like Normani or Simone an 8 or a 9 or a 10, then relative to that, then Bonner should be getting a 4 or a 5 or a 6.
Exactly.
But it's so late in the competition that fours, fives, and sixes, you'd have to kill someone's mother on stage to actually get a score that low, because it just seems mean, and it feels mean. I wouldn't even like it, but at the same time, you're judging Simone by one standard and she gets, let's say, an 8, and then you're judging Bonner by a completely different standard and he gets a 7 for standing up and not falling down. And so that's close enough that you could end up, oops, Simone is gone. Oops, Normani is gone. Or oops, Heather is gone, which is exactly what happened. She got the tie score for 4th place with Nick Viall. And because of the viewer votes, they put not only Nick Viall, but Bonner Bolton and David Ross ahead of her, so she was eliminated. So, they may be grading on a curve, but math is still math. And when they grade on a curve, the people who don't have the dance skill might end up making it farther than the big stars. With that, I'd like to get to the Mirrorball Trophy predictions. I've finally changed mine after weeks and weeks and weeks of having the same contestant in number 1. I can't remember who you are predicting and how long you've been predicting him or her. So who are you predicting to win the Mirrorball?
Right now, I've been playing it safe, and I've kept Simone as the presumptive winner for the Mirrorball Trophy. However, I'm thinking I'm going to switch to Normani. I've been switching between her, Simone, and Rashad since the beginning of the competition. When the season started and after week 1, I was all on the Simone train. And then from weeks 2 to 4, as I mentioned to you, I was like, Rashad's going to win. He got this in the bag. And then as of late, Normani has just been exceeding expectation week after week. She's been killing it on the dance floor. I'm leaning towards her, but as I mentioned, watching Dance with the Stars season after season, usually the best dancer of the bunch ends up in 2nd place. So I think it will probably be Simone or Rashad at the end, but I really want it to be Normani.
That's the switch that I made. I've been predicting Simone all this time, and then on Monday night, Normani Cordell had the highest score on the leaderboard for the 4th time. And I feel like the universe is telling me, why are you still predicting Simone Biles? And it's interesting because Normani Cordell is, it's like 7 weeks into the competition. Other than Heather Morris, who was eliminated last week, she's the only one who's gotten a perfect score. It feels really late for there to be this few perfect scores, and I think it's because as good as Simone is and as good as Rashad is, they both have little nagging issues that they haven't been able to perfect. For Simone, it's her expressiveness. she still has a tendency to wear the same kind of gymnast
Yep.
smile through every routine, no matter what. And so it's technically perfect, but it doesn't have as much of the emotional connection. And Rashad, unlike Simone, I think it's the opposite. I think Rashad has the intensity and the emotionality down, but he's not as polished in terms of the actual moves. So it's been hard for them to bring everything together to have that one perfect moment, and Normani has that. She has the technique and she has the expression. And so the reason I switched was I kept thinking back to season 20, for the entire season, maybe not the entire season, but for most of the season, I was predicting Nastya Lukin, the gymnast. She had the perfect moves. She was the all-around Olympic gold medalist. And week after week, it kept looking like Rumor Willis, who coincidentally was also paired with Val Chmerkovskiy, as Normani is this season. She just kept going and going and going, and it seemed like that train has left the station. I think it's going to be her eventually. And then and so when you said that we could potentially see David Ross end up in the finals, in the top 3, I think that could potentially hurt Simone, the way Nastya finished 4th.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing. Like you never know. But I still think that top 3 is going to be Simone, Normani, and Rashad. I feel like Rashad feels like a safe bet for me for 3rd place, and that the mirror ball is going to be between Simone and Normani.
Yeah, and I feel like it will probably come down to the freestyle, like it's always been. So Val's definitely going to have to make sure to pull out all the stops to make sure that Normani wins the mirror ball trophy. Another thing that I noticed too, and I think which also has helped Normani now with Heather being gone, is now, those fans that rally behind Max and Heather are probably going to give their votes now to Val and Normani. So I think that's definitely going to help her in terms of just advancing, to the finals, which is a plus for her. So.
Oh yeah, and one thing that Normani has to be very wary of going into that freestyle, assuming she makes it that far, which I think she will. If she and Simone both make it that far, oh my goodness, I mean, Sasha knows what Simone has got.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be putting trampolines on that stage. It's going to be flips, double flips. He's going to be throwing her around the room, doing things that Normani can't do. And he's going to pull out all the stops, no matter, because he knows what he has at his disposal, and she can do basically anything physically that he can come up with. And with a freestyle, of course, he's not going to get docked for a lift by Carrie Ann. So that would be her opportunity. That's the one dance I think is her best chance to get a perfect score.
Yeah, I would say that, and just looking at dances she hasn't done yet, I would say probably maybe the jive would probably be another good dance for Simone, because it's fun, energetic, fast dance. You can throw in some tricks. I think that would probably be a great dance for her. I'm curious if she does get the Argentine tango, how she'll be able to pull that off. I think she'll do well with the lifts, but to your point, will she be able to embrace the character and the sexiness and passion? So that would be a great challenge to see if she could step up to the plate on that.
Yeah, for Simone, it's really her best dance styles are the ones that play into the personality that she's already, really good at showing, which is the bubbly, happy side. So you get your fast-paced dances with a lot of quick movements, like the cha-cha, like last night's Charleston, like the jive. Those are dances that she'll be great at. Did she do a jazz number yet? I can't remember.
Let's see. No, she hasn't.
Yeah, jazz would be another good one for her. So those are the ones that I agree with you. The Argentine tango, she'll have the movements down, but I don't know if she'll have the character down.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something to think about. So what has been your favorite routine so far this season?
Oh boy. It would definitely have to be Normani's Paso Doble for Disney Week. Normani, before that, she was just one of those people that you knew she had the talent, but she didn't have that one routine that blew everyone away and really made everyone take notice, because it was all about Simone and then Rashad. And you had people who were, you know, expecting Heather to do great things. And then Nancy was coming up, you know, along the way. And Normani was just kind of, you know, hovering around second and third. But I think the Paso was just a great way for her to show everyone, like, hey, I'm in this competition to win it. Look out for me. I'm serious competition. And I think that woke everyone up, like, whoa, this Normani girl, like, we need to pay attention to her. So I definitely love that routine. How about you?
I think it might be the Argentine tango, Normani's from this past week. You know, next to that one, you know, because I mean, of course, now they've been doing this for longer. They're a little bit more polished than they were at the beginning. But looking back in earlier weeks, one that I was really disappointed didn't get higher scores, and it was because of the hip hop breakdown in the middle, was that early Heather Morris performance. I think that was Jive.
Yep.
She was so good. It was so good that, you know, I mean, because she had it. Like, obviously, she's been trained as a dancer. She knows how to do this. Not necessarily these specific styles, but she's got the movement down. And so she was so confident and so sure-footed. I miss her.
No, I agree. And I think it's real unfortunate because once I knew she was paired with Max, I knew there was a possibility she would have been eliminated early. The thing about Max is that he has trouble when he has a talented partner in those show-stopping routines. Sometimes he overthinks it and he, you know, underdelivers when it comes to, you know, showing them in their full potential. And I think that happened a lot with Heather, is that she had moves down, you know, she was able to really embrace the dances, but you just felt underwhelmed at a lot of her performances. You expected more. And I think Max kind of failed her in that department. And once they were all on the same page, it was the week she got eliminated. So.
And it was his first week back too, after he broke his leg practically, and he was out for like 4 weeks, and then he comes back, perfect score, goodbye.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it would have been amazing to see her, you know, continue on the competition. I was looking forward to her Argentine tango. I thought that would have been an amazing routine, but hopefully finale week they asked them to do a new routine. Hopefully it's an Argentine tango, so fingers crossed.
Well, with that, I think that's a good place to stop for the time being. I want to thank you, Cordell, for joining me tonight, and thank everyone out there for watching.
All right, have a good night.